All right. Well, hey everyone. Happy Thursday afternoon here in Scottsdale, Arizona, where Mark and I are. Welcome. And I am really jazzed about today because this is the first time I'm actually interviewing my husband, Mark, live here on the LinkedIn platform. Hi, honey. All right.
Hello.
So, okay, he's just behind me in another part of the house. But we want to jump in right away and give you some great content and some value today that I think many of you that are in business for yourself, as well as you professionals, are really going to enjoy. You know, one of the things that's happened to Mark and I we've worked together for over 30 years, which is pretty crazy. Even before we were Mark and Myrna, we also worked together. We're not new to the rodeo of working together, just new to doing it this way. And over the years, we've had so many people come to us and ask us whether or not they should hire a coach to help them be more successful. Now, Mark, I've heard you respond by telling people that, first of all, before they go hire a coach, and that might be a business coach, a life coach, a financial coach, whatever they're looking for, that they should determine whether or not they need a coach or a mentor. So today, what we want to do is take a deeper dive into really explaining the differences. So all of you listening in can decide for yourself, what would be a better fit for what you're looking for. So, Mark, let's jump in and talk about the difference between a coach and a mentor to start off with.
Okay, sure. Yeah, we have heard that question a lot of times over the years. And I guess, first of all, we try to identify, well, what is it exactly that they want help with? So you mentioned maybe they're looking for some sort of a life coach. And I'm going to think that most people who would be interested in this interview are on the LinkedIn platform because they're wanting to expand and grow their business. So I'm going to answer this question today in terms of a business coach. Because if you're someone that has determined you need a life coach because you really got to get your stuff together, well, you can go look for a life coach. Today, I'm going to talk about, should you hire a business coach, or is it maybe a mentor that you need? And a lot of times people don't really fully understand the difference. So let's jump in and think about a coach first. So when you think of the word coach, I guess the most obvious comparison we could draw would be a professional sports team that needs someone to help their players, right? So why would a coach be hired? Typically, coaches are paid, right? You don't have too many volunteer coaches. I guess maybe at the kids' little league, you have some volunteer coaches, but in terms of professional sports team, they don't have any volunteer coaches. So they're paying somebody to help you optimize your performance, right? So oftentimes a coach is there for a short season, if you will, a short term, where a team has a specific goal in mind and they're trying to bring the right person in. And there are different seasons where teams need to work on different things and different coaches are better at different aspects. So a lot of times a coach is somebody that's, kind of a short term, let's call it a season, if you will. And they're getting paid to help you accelerate your performance, right? So they're trying to help you reach your full potential. They're usually good at holding you accountable. They help you stay on track. A good coach has some knowledge and expertise, so they can teach you some things. Um, and they're usually good at asking questions, right? So they're hoping that by asking the right questions, you'll come up with the right answers on your own, right? Good coaches tend to do that. And really good coaches have ways of measuring results. And so those are maybe some of the things that you might be looking to hire a coach for, to help you accelerate or improve your performance, to give you some tips and hints and ideas to do that and ways to do that. Someone that will ask the right questions and someone that will measure your performance and teach you how to measure your performance. So those are all some of the things that a good coach would do for you. But let's talk about a mentor. What is a mentor? People use this word a lot these days. Oh, I'm looking for a mentor. Well, when you think of a mentor, I personally don't think that any amount of money could really hire a mentor. I think a mentor is somebody who takes an interest in you for some reason. You intrigue them. Maybe they see themselves in you. There's something about you that they want to be part of in terms of helping you improve and grow. So I don't think a mentor is a hired person. Oftentimes, a mentor is someone who develops a deep rooted relationship with the mentoree. And this is not typically a short term relationship. This is typically a longer term relationship. I've had a couple of mentors in my life that spanned years. And those were people that I've developed very deep relationships with. And so, that to me is a little bit of the basic difference in terms of one's paid and one's not. But as a good mentor, I think it's also somebody that has already gone where you want to go. I think that's really, really important. And a good mentor typically has a vision. They typically inspire you. Where a coach might be good at teaching something that you need to learn, not that a mentor couldn't. Great mentors are good teachers too. But a lot of times a mentor is inspiring you. They're looking for something deeper in you, and they're helping you find that in yourself. A lot of times they'll give you valuable insight from their experience in your field. So you might hire a business coach that's had success coaching other people, but maybe they've never actually coached somebody that's in your specific business. So I think if you're finding a mentor, you really want to find somebody that's been successful in your field. So they know exactly what you're trying to do to improve your performance and grow your business. When I said a coach typically asks the right questions, I think a great mentor also does that, but they also answer a lot of questions for you, right? Because they've been where you want to go. They've had success doing what you want to do. So their experience is invaluable because it's exactly the same field that you're trying to improve in. Mentors are really good at focusing on the long term. And if you find a great mentor, it'll be somebody that is willing to take the journey with you. And so, because otherwise, you think about it, you could go to business school and you could have a great instructor that's had all kinds of success in business, but you're just going to sit at their feet and they're going to teach you something. But a mentor is somebody that's actually going to roll up their sleeves and get involved with you. So, those are kind of the differences. Myrna, does that kind of speak to a little bit of what you wanted me to clarify?
Yeah, definitely. I know, I kind of think about a coach being someone that's on the sidelines coaching you, like the visual of that. Whereas a mentor is hooking arms with you and, running across the field with you, sort of thing.
Yeah. And sometimes people mistake people who have had success as automatically being good coaches too. I think obviously I'm a big hockey fan, and I think of Wayne Gretzky being the best hockey player that's ever lived, and yet he wasn't a very good coach. He had a short stint as a coach, and it was a bit of a disaster, to be honest with you. But I
Right.
bet you that
Exactly.
Wayne Gretzky would be a great mentor for a young hockey player that he saw something and maybe saw something that reminded him of himself. I bet you he'd be a great mentor,
Mhm.
right? So
You
sometimes
bet.
someone that's had success doesn't always make a great coach.
Right. Okay, so let's assume then that I've decided I need a business coach. What should I look for? I mean, because there's so many coaches all over social media, in your community, your virtual community well as your other community. I mean, how do I find a really great business coach that's a good fit for me?
Right. Yes, there's a lot of coaches these days. There used to be an old kind of saying in the business world that when someone left a company, they became a consultant. These days, it seems like when people are trying to go on their own in something, they become a coach, right? So, and not to say that there aren't some awesome coaches out there, but it seems like there's a lot of people that could take an online course on being a coach, and the next day they're hanging a shingle saying they're a coach, right? So here's what I would look for. There's 5 things I would look for if I determine that it's the right time for me to actually pay somebody to be my business coach. First of all, it's not about how much they charge. That's not even on my list. My number one thing is compatibility. Compatibility. And that means it has to be somebody that you connect with. And
Mhm.
again, I go back to my illustration of professional sports teams. I've seen teams hire a coach, pay them millions of dollars. They've had tremendous success with other teams. And just for whatever reason, they don't get this group of people to rally behind them quite the same way. There might have been personality conflicts. There might have just been different styles that didn't click. There just wasn't the right chemistry. So compatibility to me has to be number one. Number two, knowledge. Again, I wasn't joking when I said that it seems like a lot of people just hang their shingle on social media and say they're a coach today. Well, what knowledge do they have that's going to qualify them to help you improve? You need to ask a few questions about where they're coming from and what their knowledge base is. And of course, number three would be experience. And knowledge and experience are not always the same thing. People can have a lot of book knowledge, but if they've never applied it in real life, then they don't have the experience, the street smarts, so to speak. So with experience, I would be asking, well, how long have they been doing it? Give me some examples of some success stories. And that would actually lead me to my number 4 point of how I would determine a good coach, and that's references. Are they willing to allow you to speak to people they've coached in the past? And can you even find, by doing some social media searches, some organic kind of referrals? Because of course, they're probably not going to give you the name of somebody for a reference that is going to say anything bad about them, right? So can you find just what people are talking about without being solicited to give an actual reference? Can you find what people are saying they enjoyed about this coach or how they helped them improve? So those are some really big things. But my number 5 thing is maybe the biggest. And for the coaches listening in, some of them might get upset when I say this, but if I was going to evaluate a coach that I was going to pay, this one, number 5, is the most important. Someone that's willing to tie their fee into your results. In other words, are they willing to charge you by the improvement that you have? There's a great show on TV called The Profit. Maybe some of you guys have seen this guy. He's a wealthy entrepreneur guy that goes into businesses and he turns them around, failing businesses, and he puts his money into those businesses and then he helps them turn them around. And I always think, man, that is awesome, because he's not just coming in and saying, well, if you pay me $10,000 an hour, I'll tell you all the things that you're doing wrong in your business. No, he's saying, I'm going to put my money where my experience and my mouth is, so to speak, and I'm going to invest in this business with you, and we're going to turn it around together. I think that's awesome. I love that show. I love watching that show. And so same thing with a coach. I mean, obviously, coaches' time is valuable. They have to be paid something for their time. But what if there was some sort of a performance bonus tied in there where they charged you a nominal hourly fee, but they were going to really get paid if you had the success, right? So if they're willing to tie their fee into your results, that would be huge, because that would tell me this coach is very confident that they can help you improve. So now, for a mentor, I'm assuming that would be your next question.
Okay. Yeah, but you know what? Here's what I'm thinking. So what if, let's say, my friend Vanessa, she's a coach. So let's say she says, okay, Myrna, I'm going to charge you, I don't know, $200 an hour. And I'm going to help you. But then I don't do what I'm supposed to do. I mean, the coach has got to be able to fire their clients. That's the other thing, because if her money is based on me performing, but I'm not doing the work I need to do with her, then maybe I have to. I don't know how that works. How does that work?
Well, I think a great coach probably has some sort of a contract like that with people, in terms of, if you're not coachable, I could be a coach, but if you're not coachable, then I get to fire you. So absolutely, you're right. Good point to point that out, because if you got a coach that's willing to tie a huge part of their compensation into your results, then they also have to be able to turn around and say, well, you're not worth my time because you're not coachable and you're not even doing anything that I'm trying to coach you on.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So let's go down the other road now. So if I'm looking for a great mentor, how would I go about doing that?
Well, I have 5 points for that too. I thought I'd make it easy today.
Okay.
So number 1, you have to find someone that has mastered exactly what you want to master. Now, remember, we're talking about this today in terms of business, right? There's lots of times in life you may want to have some sort of a mentor as well. an older person that maybe has seen all kinds of different things in their life that could mentor you. That's great. But I'm talking about it in terms of business today. So if I'm going to look for someone to mentor me, I want to look for someone that has mastered what I want to master. That's number one. Number two, I would like to look for a mentor that's still on top of their game. I don't want someone that's going to hand me the how to manual because they were successful
Yeah.
25 years ago. I want someone who's still in the game, still on top of their game. And I want number three, someone who has a vested interest in my success. So you're in it together then, right? Someone that's looking at me and saying, okay, if they have success, then I'm going to have more success. I'm in the game, they're in the game with me. Those are important things. Number four, someone that really is willing to treat you like an apprentice. Again, a mentor is someone that's rolling up their sleeves. Like you said, they're on the field with them. They're not just coaching from the sidelines. So when you think of that apprentice kind of relationship, it's an experienced tradesman that's got a new person that's learning that trade, and they're working the job together, and the apprentice is getting that on the job training. So am I going to have a mentor that's on the job training me? And that's really important. And then number five is incumbent upon us. We need to be someone they want to mentor. Now, how do you do that? Well, you got to get noticed somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Myrna and I have reached a degree of success in our business where we do a lot of training, both nationally, internationally, sometimes thousands of people, and very commonly we'll have people come up to us after some sort of a training event, and they'll say, "Will you mentor me?" It's probably the most common question I get. Now, how could I even effectively begin to mentor everybody that asks me that question? I wouldn't even be fair to them to say yes because I wouldn't have enough time. So when I say yes to people, it's very, very rare. And it's usually when I see a spark or I notice something in somebody. Very rarely is it when they're asking me to mentor them. Usually it's because I see someone that's like a diamond in the rough, and they've got the best
Mm-hmm.
attitude, and they're working hard, and they're just willing to try everything. They're coachable, and I just see something in them, and I'm like, I would love to mentor this person. And so you need to do that. You need to get notice. So in your industry, if there's someone very successful that you're possibly thinking may be a candidate to be your mentor, what are you going to do so they look at you as someone they want to mentor? How are you going to get noticed, right? So that's a really important piece of being able to connect with the right mentor.
I know, as being a mentor, I always think to myself, when I find that person that has that spark, and that I know there's something special about them. It's like, folks, when you fell in love for the first time, you had those tingly feelings. So maybe you fell in love several times. I'm not quite sure.
What do
But
you
you
mean for
felt
the
really
first time?
amazing. Well,
Am I not the only time?
sure, let's go with that. But you have those tingly feelings, and you're excited, and you can hardly wait for that person to call you or text you or whatever the case may be. When I've got somebody new that I'm running alongside with like that, that's how I feel. Like I can hardly wait to work with them every single day. It's why I still jump out of bed every morning,
Yeah.
after 28 years of us being in business. Um, as the mentor, it's really amazing how that can make you want to work so hard with that person.
Yes, that's exactly right.
All right. So this is fun. This is great. So any closing thoughts that you're thinking about, Mark, that you want to close off with on this topic? And then I'm going to let everybody know what we've got coming up.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking to myself, I hope that there's nobody out there right now thinking to themselves that, well, I'm not in a financial position right now to be able to afford to pay a coach, a business coach. And I don't even know if I've done enough yet to get noticed by anyone that would be a good mentor for me. So am I stalled? Is there anything I can do to move forward? And so for you, if you're finding yourself in that position right now, here's what I'd suggest you do. First of all, be a sponge for knowledge. Soak up everything, absorb everything you can from anywhere you can get it. The great thing about all the different people doing podcasts and YouTube videos. I mean, my goodness, you can learn anything these days almost for free. I mean, the other day I was trying to figure out some device at home here. Oh, I know what it was. My flat tire on my bicycle. And Myrna said, go to YouTube. I bet you it shows you how to change your flat tire on YouTube. Sure enough, I found a free video on YouTube for my exact make and model of my bike, no doubt. And so I'm thinking, wow, this is pretty cool. I can learn how to do something on YouTube, right? So you can start out by saying, well, I need to get noticed by the person I'm really hoping will agree to mentor me. And you can learn some basic things. Maybe you can sit at their feet when they're training or teaching things that don't cost you any money. I mean, there's a wealth of information available that you can do. And, I always said that you don't have to be the smartest kid in class. You just sit next to the smartest kid in class and you copy their work, right? Now in school,
Right.
they called us cheaters if we did that, right? But in life, the truth is emulation is pretty cool. When you emulate other people that are successful and you copy their work and you try to repeat what they're doing, you can start to get noticed. And you'll improve your business. Maybe you get to the point where you can afford a business coach to really help you improve your skills and hold you accountable and measure your results. And maybe you'll get noticed by that right person that you're hoping will mentor you. And that could be the difference that changes everything for you. So thanks for letting us share these thoughts today.
Awesome. Thank you. So here's what we're going to do, everyone. In this last couple of years, we have more and more people coming to us and wanting us to mentor them, which is awesome. We've been very selective and we love what we do. But the other thing that's happening is so many folks are asking our guidance as to, okay, here's what's going on. The recession, inflation. I can't believe gas prices, what's happened just in the last 10 days since I gassed my car. It's ridiculous, right? So we know some questions that probably most of you maybe have not even considered yet when going out there and looking for that perfect e-commerce business, the gig economy we're talking about. So we want to share with you our takeaways with that and things that you should be asking before you decide to throw in with anybody or anything. We're going to coach you and we're not going to charge you. Okay, so
Right.
This is mentorship to help you make those very, very important decisions for yourself and how it's going to affect you and your family for the rest of 2022 and heading into 2023. Let us guide you as best as we possibly can. So keep a lookout for that. We're out of town next week on business, but we're going to have something the following week. And I hope you come back and bring your friends. Thank you for giving us some time today. And again, thanks, honey. That was awesome.
You bet. Glad to share. Look forward to
bye for
some of the other
now.
stuff you're doing. Bye for now.
Sounds good. Bye.